Welcome to our Saturday night community race for Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. I am one of your commentators, Soto Kaiba.
And I'll be your other commentator, Saber Wolf. Yes, my voice is not 100% still,
Yeah,
but I
both
will
Sa-
try to hang in there.
both Saberwolf and I are both a little under the weather, so together we'll make one full commentator. And so bear with us for tonight. So Saberwolf, tell everyone what we have tonight. What are the flags we are running?
Well, we are in a little bit of a transition stage right now in the Worlds Collide. That is the randomizer for Final Fantasy VI, or 3, of course, whenever the generation you grew up on. So we're trying out new set of standard flags. A little while back, we switched into version 1, the full release of the game. And when we did that, part of the Worlds Collide community, we kept the standard flags the same as it was prior to version 1. So as the title says on the screen, new standard testing grounds. So we're trying out some new standard sets because standard is probably the most rolled seed or flag set that we have in our community, because this is what the set that everybody measures themselves with and how well you want to play the game, or if you just want a basic set of rules and flags. So we are in the works of testing a new standard flag out for everybody to use and have fun with.
Right, standard race up until about this week had not been updated significantly in over a year. During this time, we've run a whole bunch of tournaments, and we took some of those ideas from other tournaments we ran, some flag sets and setups, such as 3 characters or the Kefka Tower skip. We were able to use that data from our other tournaments in order to better craft these flags. So, like Saberwolf said, it's still a transitionary period. Um, the previous strategy was to do one big bulk update to standard race, and that kind of got us in this situation of not updating at all. So we are now doing a more iterative approach of testing things out, changing some more things until we get something a little more stable. And this is, I believe, the second update this week. This one was just released this morning, and so it
Yeah.
is basically brand new to everyone, but it should also feel very familiar to everyone too, because, like I said, it is definitely inspired by a lot of tournaments, and should be a good time. Saberwolf, do you want to talk about the changes that both the update on Monday and then the update today brought?
Sure. So the most for this update that we did today, the standard flag was originally 7 characters, 10 espers, along with lesser dances, lesser larger range of curse shield. So a lot of times you wouldn't be able to break the curse shield. And there's other little bits and pieces like that to make it a little more interesting, a little more fun, and like that. Also, we got rid of some of the breakable rods buying in stores. That's not available anymore. Along with, I believe, super balls are not available in stores anymore either, because a lot of strategies was surrounding with that. Magitech is not available. Shock is not available. But in contrast to that, we raised like steel. Steel chances is a lot higher. There's also a lore. There's a couple more lores than what there used to be. So there's little things like that to balance out the game a little bit, to make it more interesting, more fun, and to have another ranging options to go with. At noon today, it was updated to. We dropped the characters to 6 characters, 9 espers to unlock Kefka's Tower, and we brought in the Battle Royale set, where if you get 9 characters or 12 espers, in case one's heavier than the other, you can actually do the Kefka Tower skip, which brings you up to the statues. Also, instead of starting a 2 character start, which was originally in the standard seed, you now start with 3 characters. So 3 characters and 6 characters to the goal obviously gives you a little bit not only more branching out, but actually speeds up the game a little bit, doesn't it, Seta?
Yeah, and that's going to be, I think, the key here is the speed. I know I personally ran a lot of standard race this week. It was the first time in a while I've done a 2-character start with 710. And yeah, my times were not nearly as good as they were in the Battle Royale. Having 3 characters really opens things up and makes things less linear and less likely to be gated behind a nasty check or Kefka Narsh. And reducing the requirements by 2 means that hunting for that 7th character won't be as hard. That a lot of times in standard race, finding characters 6 and 7 can be rather difficult, or finding esper 9 and 10 if something like Auction House isn't available. Reducing them by 1 each really will reduce times a lot. I think we'll see a lot of sub 130s and even quicker times, definitely sub 120s on the regular from some of our better runners. And then one small thing to note, just a small correction, Super Balls can still be bought in stores in this flag set. So those are still available, but rods are not. That was disabled. Super Balls still are for now. Maybe that will change in the future. We'll kind of see where the meta is heading.
Yeah, sorry about that. Actually, I voted for no Super Balls in stars. That's right. I forgot about that part. So
I would say I've been keeping a spreadsheet of all my standard race attempts, and I have a feel for if I bought Super Bowls. So I'm fully aware whether they are there or not, because I'm keeping track of it.
Also, part of this race we have for you tonight, we have some new faces. They've been playing the game for a while in the background and the community-wise, but haven't been actually restreamed. Drulith, we all know, the current record holder of the old set of rules. But we do have Squack McQuack, who's been around in the community for a little bit, doing his own thing. One Free Fits, don't really know them yet. They're kind of new in the community to me. So, and also JS Numbers. They went into the Battle Royale. They actually got pretty far into it for being a newer person in the community. So yeah, kudos to them.
Yeah, I believe One Free Fit said during the setup of the race that this is his first time ever being restreamed. So he is rather new, which means we have a whole slew of experience. Drulith, as we know, with standard race, held the previous world record with the old flag set and is typically a top performer. But JS, a bunch of numbers, also did very well, and we have some new blood here. So we're going to see a wide variety of strategies and paces, and it should be a good experience, good opportunity for everyone involved.
Cool. 30-second flag has gone up for our racers here, so they'll be ready to go here.
And to mention, there are a few people running this offline too. We have a few other runners who are not being restreamed. So it's not just this 4. I believe we have 7 people total running. 6 people total. I can count. And we should see them starting in a minute. Everything has been given the all clear, so we should see timer start in a second. And the first thing we'll see is kind of what characters everyone has, and that should dictate the initial routes we see people go. And that's what I'm mostly curious about. What's everyone going to start with? What is the opening for people? Something I've been thinking about a lot recently. As we see a Setzer, Gao, and Sabin start with some interesting abilities I've noticed.
So it looks like Dance on Gao. I didn't see what Sabin and Setzer have, actually.
I believe Lore and Capture. We'll also see if Steel factors in. Nothing world-beating, but stuff like Lore and Dance and Tools, all of which are solid early game. We could see some early game fixed encounters or even bosses, especially if we find something like a Drill. It looked like there were some decent lures in there, especially Blowfish, very good when you're level 3. And then also some okay dances. I saw Snowball and Wind Slash, not world beaters, but something that you can rely on if needed. But we're already seeing Drew over in South Figaro along with JS Numbers, while Squax and Fitz are in Narsh, so already have a divergence early on.
And also part of the plethora of things we're showing, along with the new starting standard set. We also did a little bit of a randomized tunes. So these are not going to be the standard tunes you hear in Final Fantasy VI. This will be random tunes taken from other games, and and put into this. So, and that's cool things you could do if you join our Discord. So you can head over to www.ff6wc.com, click the Discord link there, and you can roll these kind of tunes as well.
Yeah, So tunes are added with our seed bot in Discord, written by W.R. Jones. So it's not an option that you'll find on the website, at least as of yet, but you can use an additional flag when rolling seed with seed bot to add tunes to any flag set you want. So that is awesome, and you're hearing a little bit of it. And every tune is being kind of curtailed for the area it's in. So you're not going to hear something like the Bloody and Fair theme during the final fight with Kefka, as an example. So I found that they mostly are really good, and definitely mixes things up a bit.
And Drew with a fire rod find there in the basement of South Figaro. The first 10 to 15 minutes, no matter what version you run, basically, of Worlds Collide, the randomizer for Final Fantasy VI, you're pretty much looting for the first 5, 10, maybe even 12, 13 minutes of the whole race here. Because your characters start with nothing, as I do see an experience A getting put on Squack McQuack's Gao there. So that's also available to get some early levels going for them. And he's going to ignore the chest being guarded by the returner guard there. So he's going to have to skip that one, I guess, for now.
That guard is a jerk.
Yes, why remove is not on.
We occasionally talk about what NPCs you just straight up remove from the game forever, and he is high on my list as my most hated NPC.
Ooh, that's a Minerva on One Free Fits' screen.
Yeah, Minerva World of Balance, South Figaro. So we should see a lot of our runners there. And yeah, like you said, early looting is what we're kind of seeing. And one thing I'm kind of interested in watching is someone like Drew, of how much looting you do. I feel like this is something that's been talked about a lot in our community, of when do you decide it's time to go and when do you decide you need to look for more shops or more looting. Drew electing to do the double South Figaro play of doing World of Balance South Figaro followed by World of Ruin, because the items in the overworld that you find are different. The items inside the basement are shared, so you can't double dip that, but you get different items on the overworld and different shops. So South Figaro, very good strategy to kind of check early, and then from there you got to kind of decide where you want to go. What are the next checks you want to kind of look for?
Chat's making fun of us for the GS numbers. Well, I mean, it's not. We're not going to call Jenny here. I mean,
I'll make a vow for chat. I will promise that Saberwolf will do his best to always say all the numbers when he talks about him.
Oh, no.
That is my promise to you.
I say GS numbers too. Don't even.
Right, but I'm saying you could be better and everything. I can't be. I know my limit and all that, but I think you're capable of more.
JS82711986 has joined the chat. Yeah, here we
go. Yeah, and so our start here is interesting. Gal, Sabin, Setzer. This is a wide open start here. Sabin, of course, has the most checks in the game, but Setzer are some of the quickest. Search the Skies can be done like that to fight a boss and perhaps get a Magicite. Collagen is very quick to do, and Drill's Tomb is also one of the shorter dungeons in the game. But you also have Gal, who has a very quick check early, if you can do it early in the game, with the Velt. If you can find a dry meat before you take any battles, you're guaranteed a Lobo. And you already have 3 characters. You don't have to swap anyone out. Go immediately to Serpent's Trench. Take Serpent's Trench to Nikia. There's definitely a bunch of early strategies our runners can do, and I'm curious to see where people go. We're already seeing Drew head over to the Imperial Camp, a pretty common early game check due to the fixed encounters that you can find there.
Yeah, I mean, you have a couple of... there goes my voice. I warned you guys. There are a couple of early leveling schemes you could do. You could do the basic Imperial Camp. There's at least four fixed encounters you can do on there. There's also Gauss with the Serpent Trench. They have some fixed encounters down there as well. They try to get those early levels before you do certain other aspects of the... so basically you're doing a check while also gaining a set bunch of levels without necessarily fighting a boss in the mix of it. So those are 2 good quality ones you can do. I am a little surprised they haven't... Well, now tell me about something. A lot of people don't like doing free checks early, and there's a big reason for that. Why is that?
So for every check you do, if it's a character or an esper, that is progress. You're getting closer to be able to fight the final boss. And that is how we scale our enemies and their levels. For every time you get a new character or you get a new esper, all enemies' levels go up by 2. So one thing our runners are trying to keep in mind is what the average level of the enemies are. You start level 3, they start at level 3. If you take too many checks early, then enemies might be too hard for you to easily beat. Especially at level 3, you don't do a lot of damage. Even if you have the best spells in the game, you're still not doing too much at level 3. So by taking fixed encounters early, they hope to get levels above what the current bosses and enemies have, so the fights are a bit easier. You can also take checks that are considered free, such as Setzer's check and Collagen, and eventually get more characters and espers, but if you take too many of them, it might not be good. I personally like taking more free checks and everything. I find that if you can get through a battle or two, you'll catch back up with levels very quickly, but every runner has different strategies that work for them.
Yep, and on that note, we do find a lock inside the Imperial camp. I guess he was snooping around in that area. So that'll be the first character that we find so far, and the first chick we find so far among our 4 racers.
Yeah, great pickup there. Locke, also a very good character. Only 3 checks, but 2 checks being very quick, 1 being free. So you're definitely not upset when you see Locke.
And also Squack McQuack, World of looks like Ruin, South Figaro, finding a Valiant Knife. Oh no, World of Balance, South Figaro, finding a Valiant Knife, which is Locke's big weapon for endgame.
Was that over in the far barrel on the balcony?
No, that was actually in the weapon shop.
Oh, okay. I don't know if our other runners saw that or not. I mean, I think everyone went to World of Balance South Figaro, but yes, great item. Guaranteed to be equipped by Locke, which we now know is at one of Sabin's checks, but potentially could be used by someone else. On its own, pretty above average, but if you can get an offering with it, you can start doing insane damage in the game if you play your cards right.
One thing that always miffs me a little bit is why do people buy sleeping bags instead of tents?
Well, it's because sleeping bags are a lot quicker to use. Tents have a very long animation. Yeah, they heal everyone in the party, and sleeping bags are a little more expensive, but you can easily heal all 4 people in a sleeping bag in less time it takes to watch the slow animation and little jingle play of using a tent. Sometimes makers can't be choosers. You can't find sleeping bags. You can buy 20 sleeping bags, but that's only going to be equivalent to 5 tents. But typically you want to buy sleeping bags. They're just quicker to use when you're speedrunning. We've already seen some great route divergence here. One free Fitz is attempting to do his Velt check, while Drillith grabbing that lock from Hero Camp. He started his checks much earlier than everyone else, whereas JS and Squawks is doing some more looting, doing some more shopping, hoping to find some better equipment to help him with the mid and late game. I guess Drillith did not check Returner's hideout earlier, so he is there now. Finding Super Balls, something you like seeing early. One strategy that I personally like is, like I said, taking some of those free checks and then using Super Balls against a boss to bounce back up, taking out those early bosses before you have spells and other things. So definitely a good item to find early on.
Another good thing that One Free Fits did do is that they actually did the Gao check early and first, because that allows you to force the enemy that the character or item or whatever it's going to be pop out is going to be a Lobo. Lobo is the default monster that you find on the Velt if you haven't fought any of the battles in the game so far. So it makes it a little quicker, a little easier fight, because it's just a one-hit knockout, unfortunately, for Little Wolfie. But it does speed up that check greatly.
And one thing that Kigolis, our tracker, pointed out that there's just a hero ring and, more importantly, an experience egg at the back of Returner's hideout. We saw Drew go there. We saw Fitz, I believe, skip the back of that part of Returner's hideout. And I don't know if our other runners have gone there or not, but experience eggs make and break races. If you have experience egg and no one else has one, you're most likely going to win or do very, very well in your race. You care to explain why, Saberwolf?
I'm sorry, what was the question again? I was checking on a dried meat, because Drew was able to find dried meat at at Gao's dad's house.
I was asking why does experience egg so great? Why does experience egg really churn a race around?
Oh, it greatly because everything is like you were mentioned before, is scaling up depending on the checks you get. The monster's going to be more stronger as you gain stronger. With experience A, you actually break that mold and gain those levels a lot faster than what your opposition's going to be doing with the monsters and bosses that you're going to be fighting. And in some cases, like for instance with Blitz, allows you to get to that level 42 plateau in order to learn things like Bum Rush. So that's always important. Also, another way is that if you have espers that have, say, +1 or +2 magic power, that will be important too, as it looks like Squack McQuack might have found the offering chest.
Yeah, it looks like an Imperial camp. Katana Soul, hard of a boss. Definitely don't want to fight him at level 3. He just has a lot of HP, but that Super Ball rolling very high for him. He's able to kill him. He's going to get a whole bunch of money, and more importantly, an offering, a relic that can pair well with a bunch of weapons, including that Valiant Knife that some of our runners have found already.
And Gao has that experience egg on, so did he get experience off that? I don't think so.
You don't get experience for
No,
Katana Soul.
So that was too bad.
Yep.
Sorry, I was sidetracked there because we found the offering. So if you have espers with +1 magic power, +2 magic power, the experience egg gives you more of those levels to gain that extra stat boost even more. So it adds multiple times even more. So.
Yeah, and I find that with Worlds Collide, you are typically better with one monolithic strong character than 3 average characters. The exception of when you go down different paths in Kefka's Tower, one character could steamroll over every boss, including the final boss. So throwing an EXP egg on someone and just letting it ride for the entire game can really make everything just a lot quicker.
One free fits looks like they have found a Kieran Esper off the end of this Vargas fight.
Yeah, we're seeing a whole bunch of different routes here. Yeah. Between all the characters, we have, I believe, 11 possible checks that can be done. We are in Daryl's Tomb. We're in Imperial Camp. We're in the Veldt. We are, looks like, checking
underwater.
our... Yeah. Oh, right. Well, Death's underwater. You're right. Those reach fogs, pretty good enemy to find due to the amount of money you're going to get from them. Drew here is checking the Ragnarok spot, getting an Esper for it. So people are in different places, and be curious to see if we find a character at one of these places, kind of where the route will split even more.
Yeah, that's the thing about having a 3-character start versus a 2-character start. With 2-character starts, you're extremely linear. Because if you get, for instance, like Mog plus, say, Go-Go, that only gives you 2 checks to do. So, other than the outlier ones as Kefka and Norsh, which you probably would do with Mog anyways. But with having a 3-character start, that gives you even more divergence as we see a 8-battle curse shield, which is meh.
I would not be doing eight battles unless I grabbed it at the very beginning if I started with Lock. Maybe I would consider it. 8 is a lot. You might fight less than 8 bosses before you go to KT. And if you've already done your fixed encounters, probably not the way you want to go. So 2 versus 3 character starts. I think that's interesting. Do you prefer the more linearity, or do you prefer the more openness that 3 characters can give you?
I prefer the openness, because another version of this game you could play is open world, which allows you to go anywhere you want. But having 3-character start, have it character gated, it keeps it narrow enough that you have a minute checks to have. Like in this case, we had in between 6 or 7 good ones. But it doesn't overwhelm you like open world would, because again, this is a standard. This is basic set. So we're giving you a little bit. We're gonna give you a good slice of cake, quarter of a cake, but not the whole entire cake. At once. So don't overindulge yourself. And also going back to the curse shield real quick. Originally, it was, I believe, 1 or 2 battles up to 32. I think it was, but now we've narrowed it down to around 2 or 3 to 14's the cap, I believe. So It does give you a chance to unlock it almost no matter what. 14 battles is high, 8 battles is kind of high still too in this seed. But It does give you that chance,
Yeah, 14 is still very high, but you don't want the curse shield to be guaranteed every time. It is for good balance to have seeds where the curse shield does not get you anything. But it being all the way up to 32, that was more likely than not going to be useless. Here, more likely than not, it should be useful if you kind of plan it right. If you, we got an early Guardian up in the sky. Guardian can be a little nasty because he has some of the highest HP in the game, and even with being scaled down due to their levels, a Bolt 2 and some Super Bowls still might not be enough to get through him. It's either going to be a long fight or possibly a deadly one. Just depends on how these Super Bowls roll. Well, he does have to remove it, esper.
He's got another one, too.
Yeah, because he's 6 levels above scaling, so that should be a level 9 Guardian if the tracker is updated correctly. So that should not be too bad. I don't know how much more HP he has, but hopefully it's not a lot. Meanwhile, Squax is in the Imperial camp. We have JS just finishing up Nikea, and we're getting our first new check here. One free fit's going to do the Sabin collapsing house check right now. Drew breaking that Thunder Shield. You can tell that he didn't want to do that, but
yeah.
Sometimes you have to for speed. It's worth breaking those elemental shields early. I'm bad at hoarding them, but if you can break them early, get through a boss, you can really break the seed open from a speed perspective.
I am definitely digging the random music on this. We got a fellow randomizer music in the background as we get a dead check. Now, dead checks are just items you would get instead of an esper or character. It is a high tier item usually, or a spear or a lance is okay. But yes, anyways, digging the music on this. We have a fellow randomizer with the Link to the Past kind of thing going on.
So I am for a little behind the scenes tech here. I am watching on a Discord stream in order to make sure I'm not delayed. So I am the only person watching this who does not have music because that does not come through.
Yes, Discord does not carry music for some reason. I got to figure that out.
Yeah. So I will take your word for it that it is awesome, and every track I'm sure is a banger, as I can only hear the sound of my and Saberwolf's voice. And so we have one free fit here, finishing up the collapsing house, and we'll see if it's an esper or an item. He does get Golem. Golem, a very good esper to find in almost every case. Would you care to explain why, Saberwolf?
Golem is one of the big 4, maybe 5 espers you need for the endgame Kefka, because that is your protection for tier 3 Kefka. That is the calmness, because it is a physical damaging attack. Golem blocks physical attacks, so it will automatically block that for you, as JS is going to try their hand at the offering.
And I'd be curious to see how this offering plays.
Noise Blaster. They started with Noise Blaster. I forgot about that.
Yeah. JS, great play on his part. JS Noise Blastering the Katana Soul, knowing he's weak from confusion. The Katana Soul using his instant death attack on himself to instantly cure the battle. Combination of great knowledge by JS and great luck on top of it for him to do that attack at that point. Clearing the battle with ease. That is a great play by JS. I love it.
Yeah, that is a definite good play, as Squack McQuack's going to get their Unicorn, which is another, I guess you could say, top tier esper, as World of Ruin Thief is a 53,000 gold piece esper, so we'll see what the World of Balance has. But Unicorn gives remedy to your entire party. So when Train, or Trine as it was supposed to be, which is one of the late game attacks that Kefka will do to you, it blinds you and mutes your party member, rendering him pretty much unable to use any offensive for basically. And Unicorn costs remedy on your entire party, so you have your Unicorn on a ribbon person on your party, so you're immune to it, and you can remove those statuses from your entire party.
That's right. It's very good. In that one niche, normally, I think it's the only time really that there's such statuses applied en masse that are worrisome. But you hate being hit by Train by either tier 3 or tier 4 of Kefka. It is not fun. It's not good. And Drillith here running into one of our favorite community members, Hudat, in a chest. But decides he doesn't want to hang out with them and runs away, unfortunately. And Fritz also going to run into the Katana Soul, so everyone but Drew has taken the Katana Soul fight here. Um, and this is one of the interesting things I find about different strategies. Drew definitely went for the go fast early strategy, which of course is really great for getting progress early, but that might catch up to him if items and magic just don't appear, in the way he wants. Whereas players who maybe go a little bit slower and check out some of the monsters in the boxes or check out shops might find the offense that'll let them catch back up later with potential good offense. Knowing there's Valiant Knives and now 3 of our 4 runners potentially having offerings means that we could see a lot of different offensive setups at the end of the game, which could sway the race one way or another.
Just to recap right now, Drew is now doing the Daryl's Tomb check that we saw earlier. One Free Fits is, of course, in the camp. JS is also in the camp. But Squag McQuack doing a new check, which is... God, my brain just went blank there.
Mount Colts.
Mount Colts. Yeah, thank you. Again, we're sick, people. Bear with us. It does have that VK on lock already.
Yeah, BK can do a surprising amount of damage with his base power. If you don't have much else going on, hitting with it is not the worst thing in the world. But runs into the Stooges.
That is the worst thing in the world, though.
Yeah, that is not good here. When you don't have elemental magic, these guys can be kind of a pain. You, of course, want to kill the top one first, because he'll just revive the others. And if you can get through the top one, this might be doable. But you can see right here that, he doesn't have that much damage, and these guys can be a little bit of a jerk. So be curious to see how this plays out for him.
And they're doing the best imitation of Tier 3 Kefka with the Fireball with, like, the Meteo action going on there.
Yeah, I believe Fireball can't kill you. I think it is basically a gravity base.
Oh, but that will.
Yeah, that will. And, if he can kill the top one, I always forget who's who. Is that Larry at the top? I don't know.
Oh, no, but that comes a Delta hit. That's going to turn Setzer to stone before he can launch his attack. Oh, no.
And Locke, of course, is attacking randomly, which is not necessarily what you want, especially when nothing hits the top one. Yeah, I think this fight gets broken open or lost, depending on if he can just knock out one of these two.
But Hellfire, no.
Yeah, that's going to heal him. This is really bad luck, because right now, Gao can't heal Setzer or Sabin, leaving only Locke right now, and I would imagine you have to get one of them back up, especially with this Hellfire just healing every bit of damage he's gotten up. And if this hits Locke,
nope,
okay,
Setzer, okay.
I didn't even know they would target someone who was already shown the stone. That is that's interesting. Meanwhile, we have Drulith now doing the collapsing house check, and I did not see where One Free Fits is. Is he still? Oh, he's still in the camp.
He's still doing the camp.
These stupid dances screw with me as a commentator, because I'll look over. I'm like, wait, where are they? Where is he that he can fight in a town? And the answer is he's not in a town. The desert earlier in the Serpent Trench really screwed with me too.
Now, for those of you, for Dance and all who haven't played Final Fantasy VI that much, if you dance and you're in a new climate area, you will not learn that climate area unless that area is the background. If you do a dance and you change the background, you will not learn that dance.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't come up that often in Worlds Collide, but it is important to know. Man, Squax is a little screwed where he is here. He has no control anymore.
Well, he can't reset. Well, that's a long walk, but...
Yeah, it depends what he saved, or if he's just being stubborn and thinks he can get through it. But he's solely at the mercy of the RNG here. 3 people down and not having control of Gao.
Wind Slash will help.
Right, and he did kill the top one, so it could be slow. I might have taken a reset here, but if the RNG is in his favor, then this could still be winnable from him, but it's completely out of his control. This is where you put your controller down, go check your email, text your wife, because there's not a lot you can do right now. You are watching, Squawk is watching just as much as we are watching right now.
But Gao is doing work, and Wind Slash will do additional 500 damage right here. Okay, we're getting there.
Meanwhile, we're seeing everyone else kind of tread ground we've already seen before. And you can kind of see here, one free Fitz and Drew almost neck and neck here. Drew is one check ahead of him, but Fitz is going to pick up Locke right now after about 2 more fixed encounters. JS, well, I take it back, I guess Drew got the esper there, so he is, one free Fitz is 2 checks behind him, soon to be 1. And, JS a little bit more behind, and Squawks, I didn't see what he picked up here after killing this fight. If it was a character or an esper.
But he got through it. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm thrilled for him.
But yeah, our we have various paces going on here.
It was a dead check cat hood.
You hate to see it, dead checks are of course frustrating to run into. They are part of the game. And especially when you do all that work for it, only to be rewarded with nothing is sometimes the bad break you get here in Worlds Collide. As runners, you try your best to make sure you minimize those bad breaks because you know they're coming. You know that you're the C in the rando is going to mess with you, and you're just trying to reduce that as much as possible.
Shout out from Chef from Occasional Potato. Gao OP confirmed. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, he does have 2 abilities to start with that makes him kind of special versus any other characters where they get fight plus whatever, and Go-Go is the outlier because of the mimic thing. But Gao does start with 2 abilities, but does not get the fight abilities. So
I find that to be a little bit of a nerf with Gao personally. I think that I think fight is very good, and most of the time I feel like with Gao, I have 1 ability that is not worth it at all. It's rare to get 2 abilities that you will equally use. If anything, gives you double the chances at a good ability, I guess, compared to another character. But the lack of fight can be problematic sometimes, depending on what equipment you end up with.
Now, would you suggest for Leap to be turned into fight instead, like permanent, like just make it fight?
No, because I think it's good to have a character unique like Gao, even if it's a little bit underpowered, right? Like, it's why Umaro is Umaro. Like, he's not great, but he's unique, right? If we have for controllable Umaro, he becomes just like everyone else, right? And, it's okay in my opinion, it's okay for things not to be optimal in Worlds Collide. Not everything is equal. Gao is rememberable and unique in battle in a case where only 2 other characters are really as memorable as him, Go-Go and Umaro. So, I kind of like it. It gives him his own little flavor. And yeah, sometimes you get some crazy stuff. Sometimes you'll get a throw health, and you have a very solid Gao who can do a lot of different things. So, yeah, I think it'd be nice to play with, but I wouldn't want to see it as a standard thing.
I appreciate that, Sir Seto. By the way, Welk is at the tunnel armor check, which is one of Locke's 2 checks that he has. Well, 3 if you count the shield and the weapon shop.
Yeah,
having a little difficulty thanks to Gao.
Gao and Locke with the offering, you're seeing the disadvantage of some strategies where there are some very good abilities, but if you can't control where they're hitting, depending on the boss, it could be problematic. We saw there Locke eating a gigavolt for his troubles because you can't aim the offering, and if you hit the shell, he is gonna shock you back. Meanwhile, Drew going through the Phoenix Cave, looking like he is not doing the dragon, which definitely could be a smart play here. A pretty decently quick check, I find, if you kind of know what you're doing. And he was kind of in the area, so we'll see if this ends up with a character or an esper. Because if it's a character, this is not a check that most people do. We might see some runners opt out of it, and that really could add a lot of divergence.
You're not going to believe it, but that was another dead check for a Squawk McQuack.
Poor guy.
That is an esper for Drew.
What check was Squawk at there?
That was the tunnel armor. It would end up being a snow muffler.
Well, at least it was a quick check, right?
Yeah.
Tunnel armor being one of the quicker checks in the game. But yeah, you hate to see that.
Two dead checks in a row. He jumps off into the waterfall. I don't blame him. And we get Ultros 4 for his troubles.
Definitely one of the slower Ultras is Drew picking up Bismarck, one of his namesake espers. Drew's avatar previously was the Great Whale. So he has to be thrilled about that. Meanwhile, JS is fighting the Stooges at Mount Colts that we saw Squawk kind of suffer through. And where one free fits, what town is he in?
Nope, looks like South Figaro.
Yeah, South Figaro. Picking up more of something in
World
the
of
item
Ruin.
shop. Yeah, maybe he hadn't been to the World of Ruin one yet. So, Drew definitely getting kind of ahead here, but Fritz, for someone we have not seen recently before, he is not that far behind him. He is putting on a pretty good show here. And, this could be an interesting end of Kefka's Tower between these two. And, of course, it's too early. Any runner can come back. It's a string of dead checks or a Kefka's Tower wipe, really can change things up a bit. So definitely cool to see, Fitz here going to pick up his 5th Esper, so he's only going to be 1 check behind Drew in a second.
Yeah, very, very good. And glad to see new faces in the community as well. In chat, by the way, if you want to follow our runners on their Twitch channels, we have Drewlith as Drewlith, Squack McQuack as Squack McQuack, JS Numbers as JS Numbers that you see on the screen, and One Free Fits is One Free Fits. And also, shout out to our comms team. We got myself, Saberwolf Gaming, 2M, Seto Kiyaba, Kigalis, Kigalis, sorry, I said it wrong, Kigalis, and also Ceiling Cat is also in the background there. I know she didn't put her Twitch channel up there, but she is lurking in the shadows as usual, helping out with the tracking and all.
Yeah, again, major shout outs to our restreamers and our trackers. Without them, you wouldn't see the production you're seeing right now. And it's great to be able to have people to do this so our runners can have a nice little showcase on a Saturday night. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this as well. Drewlith now doing Serpent's Trench. Squawk looting Thamasa, who I don't believe we've seen anyone at Thamasa yet. And Fitz now going to return his hideout. So we don't normally see it at this point in the game without a Terra. So he must be doing some looting or buying something at the item shop that he wanted.
Apparently an auto crossbow. He wanted a machine gun, apparently.
Yeah, it could be the tents and everything. We'll see if he picks up the EXP egg here, but I think Drewlith might be the only one who actually found the egg and put it to use. That he threw that on lock, as obvious by his levels there.
Squat McCat put it on his gal early on.
Okay. As well. It looks like Fitz might have it on his gal too. His gal's a few levels higher. Our apologies to chat. With 4 racers, sometimes it's hard to catch exact menuing with everyone. We can normally tell what bosses they're fighting, but we miss the occasional equip or pickup between them. We try our best with our tracker, but we don't get it right every time.
And if you want to play and hang out with the community as well, we do it every Thursday and Saturday. So the next one will be Thursday, May 12th. It's another weekly community race. And we'll restream it right here on twitch.tv/FF6 Worlds Collide.
Yeah, and we normally do Saturday races. They're not always restreamed. They're a little more casual than the Thursday night ones. But if you're free on Saturday and you wanna race, feel free to join us. We don't always do standard race. We normally try to mix it up every week with both the Saturday and the Thursday ones to really kind of keep things fresh. There are so many options in Worlds Collide, especially with how our objective system works. So many things that Standard Race does not touch. So we have a whole bunch of very creative people who come up with really fun flag sets every week. So if you like having a new experience constantly, which might be why you're playing a randomizer, then Worlds Collide might just be for you. Come hang out. Let's have a good time.
Yes, we have a really great community. If you have any questions, there's a help channel in our Discord if you join that. And somebody will usually get back to you really in 10 minutes almost. I mean, they'll get back to you.
Yeah, we're a little too chatty sometimes, but,
and I always reply in the wrong channel, I will admit.
But, we do love helping new players out. As Kegel has pointed out, Drew is surrounded by frogs here. Those reach frogs, definitely a battle I like seeing. I don't have every random encounter memorized, but I do like those reach frogs. Very good way to get some quick money.
Now, if you cast Bismarck underwater, does it do extra damage? Apparently not.
No, it does no damage. There's already water everywhere. You can't spray more water.
It's going against the current there.
It's like shooting a super soaker in a pool, right? Like, it's not going to do anything.
Well, I mean, it depends if you have one of those, like, battery powered ones, I guess. I don't know. Those were the cool kids back in the day, y'all.
Where was Strago at here? Let me look that up. Barren Falls. Okay.
Oh, so he jumped off. So 2 dead chicks jumps off the falls and gets Grandpa. I get it.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of shocked that with a Saban start, no one else has done that yet. Barren Falls a little bit slow of an end to it, but you immediately fight a boss and get a free heal beforehand. It is a rather quick check. Yeah, you can't peek it, but very good. And only one of the runners has done it. And of course, he got maybe the worst character when it comes to checks from it, but he is still a character. He still counts.
And he's the only one with 5 characters, so that's something, right? Even though he has 1 esper, but...
Yeah, that 1 esper is a little rough right now. Being 37 minutes in and 1 esper, I've been there before. It isn't fun, but you kind of work with what you're being given. As he runs into Papa Behemoth here, who, given his offense, might cause him a little bit of trouble. I don't know if offensively he'll have too many problems, or defensively, but offensively this might take a little bit.
Yes, Senor Behemoth, second restream in a row, he's in the burning house, by the way, is weak to fire, which kind of makes this interesting. But no fire found so far as I could tell on some of our runners. Oh no, we had plenty of fire, we had Merchant for crying out loud. But Squack McQuack, with the lack of espers, not learning the fire spell yet, so he's kind of limited to just really bold, it looks like.
Right, however, his second form is also weak to Pearl, and more importantly, not immune to instant death. So if he happens to have any instant death on him, I know he has a tools command, so if he happens to have an air anchor or a chainsaw, you can get through the second form pretty easily. Druid getting through Serpent's Trench with 1 free fits, not that far behind him. At this point, still 2 checks behind him. I feel like he got. I thought he was at 5 espers. Maybe I miscounted.
Drewless going for the falls.
Oh, okay, cool. So this will get Drew's 6th character, of course, or 5th character. Of course, yeah. He won't be too happy with who it is. I might be biased. I think Strago has the worst checks in the game. Yes, I think he has worse than Gogo Yumaro, and definitely on average. So sorry for Strago lovers out there. I am definitely a hater in that regard.
Oh, and JS is going for it too now.
Cool. We'll see a little bit of double octopus on our screen. There's Ultras 4, who calls his buddy Chupon halfway through the fight. Killing Ultras actually does not matter here. It is Chupon whose HP you have to get to 0. Kind of lame, though, because Chupon will sneeze you out. You get no experience, no gold, no MP for this fight. So if you're trying to get above scaling, you don't like seeing it, because Chupon is a little jerk like that.
Really interesting here. Drulith in 1 free fits is still trying to unlock the Paladin Shield. Squack McQuack has unlocked the Paladin Shield, actually. So, yeah, they went forward anyways. Well, it was kind of early in the game when they got it, so they were going to get those 8 battles in. But still, I mean, and it looks like JS is doing the same thing. So,
well, one thing to consider, when we mentioned it with Drew when he first got the Paladin Shield, I said I wouldn't do it. I'm obviously not him, and I'm not keeping track of every single check they've done because it's 4 people. He did not done Serpent's Trench yet, and if you know that somebody you're going to route in, well, there is 4 or 5 encounters right there of your 8. I thought he had exhausted every fixed encounter check, but since he hadn't, suddenly it becomes a lot smarter to do. Squawks, of course, going through the burning house also really helps with that as well. So having some fixed encounter checks left and knowing there's a pretty good chance you got to go there, go do them, might as well do them sooner rather than later, because suddenly 8 battles becomes a lot more palpable to do at that point.
Ooh, and that's a 43 magic power Strago, by the way.
I still don't take back the bad things I said about him. But 43 is very good. You like to see that on anyone. One change with Standard Race was previously Standard Race, all characters kept the same stats that they had previously, but now they have a 20% standard deviation. They can either be 20% lower or 20% higher, or some degree in between of what their original base stat was. So you still keep the same idea. Saban's not going to be a magic user, really as much, right? Realm is still going to hit like a truck with her spells. But you do have a variant, so that does mean sometimes you get a Strago that is rather useful in the magic department because he happened to roll very high on that roll. So another new change that comes with the newest iteration of Standard Race.
One for Fritz did find some snipers in one of the weapon shops here, so that's a decent weapon that you can use. Does have a high chance of critting, and you can use it from the back row, which makes your characters a little more protected.
Also
So,
does
and it's kind of cheap too.
it does 300% damage to any enemy that is floating, which is a lot more enemies than you would think.
Yes, which is why
and
Kokobo doesn't work half the time.
Yes, exactly. It's the exact same property. And remember, he has that offering, and I don't know if he's bought the Valiant knife or not, or if he even saw it. But snipers also work pretty decent with the offering. Obviously, their power still cut in half, but with that 300% proc with the sniper that happens 50% of the time against floating enemies, even with half damage from the offering, still can add up, and you can do. It's a pretty poor man's end game offense, but it's not anything to snub your nose at either. It can be pretty good.
Shadow music playing in the background of Phasma, so that's interesting.
Very, very thematic.
Yeah.
Totally not a hint to anything else about his backstory. No siree.
No spoilers.
I,
Go play Pixel, guys.
and we're seeing JS using a strategy involving peeking, where you can go to Phantom Train and see the reward and get the reward at the beginning of the train. And he goes in there and he sees it's a dead check. So he saved beforehand, he resets out. A little bit of time loss, but it's maybe 20 seconds overall. A lot of runners like to go and peak Phantom Train, even if they're not going to do it anytime soon, because at least they know, and it's a pretty decent time investment. It doesn't take very long to do that.
Drew is going into the Burning House now. Again, not a fan of those Strago checks, but I'd like to go Burning House first. One for Fritz going for their Strago, jumping up the falls, and to do the Ultros 4 fight. And JS doing Falling House check as well.
Yeah, runners are kind of running out checks a little bit here. I believe with Drulith, he's done everywhere but Mount Colts with Setzer, and he's done everywhere but Tunnel Armor with Locke, and so he's kind of running out of checks, and he's choosing to do Burning House here. Of course, we know that Tunnel Armor was a dead check. Actually, both of those were dead checks, so fortunate on Drew's part for not going there. So yeah, the Strago checks, while not great, at least Burning House and Abyss Rock can be routed into each other a little bit. They're both physically in the same location, War of Ruin. So, going through them and hoping you get your last few espers might, it's a pretty decent play. You hope one of these ends up with a character.
Now, when you're going through this, take Squack McCrack's position, only finding 2 espers so far because you have so many dead checks. Do you look at yourself and be like, well, all the other guys are probably going to hit these dead checks too. I might be fine, or do you start worrying a little bit?
As
Truelet plays Dodge the Flame and does it. Wow.
It's a good question. Where he found his dead checks are not absurd places, right?
Yeah.
Mount Colt and I forget the other one he found a dead check. Are pretty common. Tunnel Armor, pretty common places. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that Drew has not checked Tunnel Armor, considering fact how quick of a check it is. So, assuming that they found a few of them, I might think I'm in a decent position here. But you start feeling behind. You're at the 45-minute mark. By the 45-minute mark, for some of our top runners, you're getting ready for Kefka's Tower. Your hope within the next 7 minutes or so, if you're really good, that you're in there. Maybe a bit quicker with this flag set if everything goes really well. I know if I'm missing 7 espers at the 45-minute mark, regardless of my dead checks, I think I'm behind. Unless the scene's been very linear, I think I'm behind at that point. And maybe start doing the Hail Mary stuff. Maybe you do the Elite Rivers of the World or the Kefka Nourishes, hoping that opens you up a bit more. Why not? If you think you're behind, try something crazy.
Yeah, and it gets to a point where if you haven't found that many espers, you're running out of time to try to learn the spells off of them too. So
that's right, and that's why you'd rather see characters later once you have your 4 than espers later. I think we've all been in a situation where you get that Mertrin or you get that Cure 3 on your last Esper, and you don't even get a chance to teach it to the people you want to teach it in Kefka's Tower because you're running the bosses that don't give you MP. And you hate to see a good Esper at the very end because it might mean that not everyone gets to learn that spell.
One for you, Fitz. Also seeing the dead check is going to elect to bounce out of that.
Yep, Wise Squax, I believe, picked up an Esper there at Setzer's check. Double checking some stuff.
Yeah, it should have been Karen.
Yes, there it is. Yes, I can't read. Sorry, like I said, not feeling that well.
Bear with us, guys.
I saw the words, they entered my brain, and nothing got comprehended. So my bad on that front.
Oh, you're good, bud. You're good.
We're seeing Fitz now going to be disappointed in that tunnel armor check. Meanwhile, Drew fighting that Senior Behemoth probably should have no problem with all the Fire 2s he has. But one thing I'm noticing here is all of our runners, their offense is not particularly great. Drew is very close to Kefka's Tower here. He just needs 3 more checks. And while they have some level 3 magic, it seems like their levels are still rather low across the board. None of them really opened up any crazy high game offense at the moment either. There's that Valiant Knife lurking out there, but there isn't that much else. If you're these runners, Saberwolf, what are you trying to consider for, you're not thinking about right now, you're thinking about what's ahead. What are you going to be factored in when it comes to your character builds?
Well, let's see. We have Valiant Knife on. We have Valiant Knife locked with offerings. That's easy. The rest is kind of scary because we haven't even found any good lures either. We have a Strago with pretty decent base magic power. And then I've seen Sabin with Metal Claws in some of the teams here that I'm looking at. I'm with you. I am really nervous on these builds, and Sabin doesn't really have a build right now.
Yeah, and we're seeing with Drew's team here, he has some people at 29, but the rest, his gal with the experience is at 29, but all the rest are in their mid-20s, slightly lower at the 48-minute mark.
But we have stuff like Merton, though. We do have stuff like Merton, but we don't have any protection against Merton.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a Coliseum check. If I'm looking for a Merton protection, I like to check the Coliseum because, if you're trying to check the Coliseum for a specific item, you're going to be sad, but there's, 6 different items that could give you merchant protections. The odds of finding one of them is pretty good.
You could have tonic for flame shields. That'd be amazing,
Right. Or even something for rage rings if you're in a pinch, right? Mm-hmm. I think that we'll see our runners, go to Kefka's Tower with things that offenses that might make us slightly uncomfortable. But that ends up being a very entertaining run. If we can see, anyone can sit here and cat scratch with 8 Valiant Knives and everything, but seeing a good Kefka beating with, working with the few tools you've been given, that's really awesome. And, I'd be curious to see if that's the route we go.
Now, I will take the blame on this. I rolled this. So, in the progression we're looking at, we are character blocked at Kefka Narsh or Tower or Magi Master's Tower. Or what's the other one? Coral there.
Oh, Ebbets Rock?
Ebbets Rock. So those are the 3 big checks we haven't seen yet. So looks like we're going to have to do one of those.
Well, of those 3, Ebbets Rock is the best, in my opinion. Yeah. It obviously is rather RNG. Most people don't like it for the same reason they don't like the Bridge Troll. The RNG makes it feel like it's rather slow because everyone always feels like they get screwed by it. But overall, it's not that bad. Fanatics Tower is rather scary here. I personally think it's the slowest check in the game, but if you don't have good magic, you might get rather scared of fighting the boss up there and everything like that. And then, of course, Kefka at Narsh is Kefka at Narsh. And without Mog or Terra, it's a lot tougher sell. They'll hike your way all the way up there, which is why you're seeing all of our runners kind of avoid it.
Well,
The nice thing about
Druid's gonna
Fnatic's
give it a try,
Tower,
though. Yeah.
right? I was about to say, the nice thing about Fnatic's Tower you're seeing with Drew here is you can
Oh,
peek it, and so now he knows he doesn't have to go there, which is probably a relief on his part.
so Kefka and Narsh, I would say, right? Because he hates doing Coral.
Oh man, he hates it that much, but I guess so because
Yeah.
he's. Oh, he hasn't done Tunnel Armor yet, so or Mount
No, he
Colt,
did.
so-
He just did it. So it was. Yeah, here he did it. So yeah, he's at Narsh now. Oh no, he's doing Colts, which
Yeah,
is
he's
also a dead check, right?
Right, he has not done Colts yet. He's the only runner who hasn't. Obviously, one free fits there right now. So he's going to be rather disappointed. However, unlike someone like Squax, he's much higher level and has more options available to him. The Stooges should not cause him nearly as much problem and time loss as it did the runners who kind of got there sooner. So that will be a big difference maker, I would imagine. And by the way, we were talking earlier about the pacing, and Drew still ahead when it comes to checks, but we're seeing that that gap being closed a bit. JS here is only one check behind him right now as he goes running up. I don't know if he's World Balance Ward or Ruin Nurse, but Fitz is only one check behind him, and Squawks is one check behind him. Looks like Fitz's pace has died a bit.
It's Cyan.
Oh, and great pickup for JS. Be able to pick up that character there is huge. And Cyan has great checks. You can immediately do Doma Castle. The walk up to Mountain Zozo, while it's slightly long, gives you a bunch of treasure and a dragon. And the dream, of course, can be 3 espers. A little more risky since you don't want to take the character potentially. But that is the character everyone else is missing. If Abyss Rock doesn't have a character, it means we're gated by Kefka at Narsh, and when you're gated by Kefka at Narsh, is a huge advantage to the first crazy soul who decided to go there, and that is JS, and it's working out in his favor very much so.
Squack McQuack on the wrong side of the forest.
Yeah, he could be looking for the free heal, or it just could be, it could be looking for the free heal.
Yeah.
It's obviously slower, but if you go the back way, it's pretty much the same. Now, I don't know when he exits if the airship will be in the right place. I hope it is. It would be interesting to kind of see.
That would be interesting, actually.
But he's going to reset out anyway because we know he's dead. And I've been dead with a good item. You're seeing some of the offensive difference here. Drew getting to the Stooges fight after Fritz got there. But we're really, we're seeing here that Drew is already caught up with him and might even finish this fight before Fritz does. If not, it'll be very close.
I was going to say, he's actually going to do this?
If his emulator's like mine, you have to have the mouse cursor focused on it, so maybe he was moving as he was readjusting his mouse.
Well, no, he was equipping the item, so I was like,
Well, then he had proper second thoughts, it sounds like.
Yeah, yes, he had second, third, fourth thoughts there. So it looks like he's tearing off too. Oh, he's doing Kefka and Narsh.
Yeah, good call. And again, that's going to open him back up. And that's one of the exciting things about these races, right? Even experience can be kind of mitigated a bit by good luck or good routing. I know that Zelfer, the guy who just won our Battle Royale tournament, has told me that he will always last check Kefka at Narsh. I don't know if it's actually always, but he does not like that check. I don't either. And so
that's a long walk.
It is a long walk. And if you're not routing in with Mog or Terra, it is very long. And so there are a bunch of runners who, and they're being smart. They're playing the numbers game. They are going for checks that are the most optimal to go to. But it's not always about being optimal. Sometimes it's about being lucky because this is a randomizer. Things are random.
So Drew is going to do the train check. Of course, that's going to be the Genji helmet. So he's going to reset off this. One free Fitz is doing the Search the Skies check, which we also know is a dead check. But he had to fight Guardian to get through it. And Squat McQuack starting Kefka at Narsh. JS is in the middle of Kefka at Narsh. It's still really anybody's race there now.
Yeah.
I mean, Drew's a little ahead, but still.
Yeah, but without these dead checks, and I think we're going to see him go to Ebbets Rock now. Depending on what Ebbets Rock has, maybe? Where's he going?
Yeah, Ebbets Rock. I mean, yeah, he was in World of Ruin.
Depending on what Ebbets Rock has, we might see this Kefka at Narsh pay dividends for someone like JS. Of course, JS does not get the Kefka Nurse skip, and you're really seeing that pay off, because if you don't get that skip, you can fight anywhere between 3 and 5 random battles, depending on how you move, and he didn't get it, and he's now kind of stuck in that mass of soldiers fighting battles, and that's not where you want to be. It's slow. I would be trying to warp out or run away, personally, and we'll see if that speed catches up with him. Whereas
nice slip step.
Squack easily getting the skip, and you can see right here, JS started Kefka at Nourish before Squawk even went into Nourish, and Squawk is already at the boss. That is how important the skip is. Yes, we occasionally mess it up, but if you can master it, you can really save yourself a lot of time here. And especially when you still get caught by that guy running back and forth. Very unfortunate luck for JS.
Yeah, and if you get stuck in that spot, you end up with like possibly 4 fights to clear that area around you before you can actually go after the Kefka.
Yeah, that is rough. But he finally got it, and we get Rexol. Rexol, an interesting boss. I find that he can't really kill you, but he has extremely high magic defense. And it looks like, at least with Squawk here, he doesn't have any ice, which is what he's weak against. And this could be a little bit long of a fight. Again, these Rexols, or these Soul Savers, they can just revive themselves. So stuff like the Offering and Dances kind of aren't great here, because you need to be able to target Rexol, and between that and his high magic defense, this could be a long fight. I don't think anyone's in danger of dying, but it is a long fight.
Going back to our offensive question, as Drulith is fighting Dullahan, they do have Ice 3, which is important for K2. They do have Fire 2, looks like, on the table, so that's decent enough for K1. But we are still missing stuff like Silence or Mute. We're still missing instant death things. I mean, we're still missing a lot of tools here.
Yeah, we do have Calmness Protection, luckily.
We have Calmness Protection.
Yeah, and Golem, and I think even Fenrir might be out there, I thought I saw. But yeah, like, you want that instant death and you want that mute. They're not as important as Calmness Protection. You can get by without them, but it definitely makes the fights longer, and in the case of Tier 2, a lot more dangerous if you can't auto-kill tools, because he can do some nasty stuff. JS picking up Cyan, that gives him his 6th and last character. He just now needs 3 espers, and he is good. Meanwhile...
going straight to Dream. You go straight to Dream or Doma Castle right now.
Yeah, and looks like Drew now is... he did Abbott's Rock. He got his Esper there, so I guess we're doing Kefka Narsh. I think he now knows he's been everywhere else. I believe... Yeah.
He's hitting the Narsh. Yeah, he's just taking a scenic route.
Yeah, a little bit different flight path than I would take, but... Now he's right behind them, so it puts Drew back in a good position here.
Oh, Phoenix Cave. We didn't even think about Phoenix Cave.
Drew went there earlier, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, would One Free Fits want to do a dragon here?
At this point, potentially, yeah. We talked about how everyone's offense is, not bleak, but it's not the best it could be. And a dragon here, at the very least, it gives you levels. It can teach you some spells, but also you gamble that maybe you get a high tier item that really breaks things up. And pulling out an Atma, pulling out an Offering, pulling out an Illumina, like all those are things you could get, and that really could turn your offense around come KT and make it a little more solid.
Life 3 also now available from Drulith.
Good, that is your Calmness Protection. Not the best Calmness
Protection, yeah.
Oh, we already had Calmness Protection, my bad.
Well, you can't have too much Calmness Protection. You really can't.
Well, in a seed where you might not have a lot of healing, Life 3 can be crucial with the early stages of Kefka, because it's a good insurance policy. It's a slow insurance policy, but it's something, right? It has its uses.
Phoenix Cave, by the way, is Ragnarok, by the way, Esper.
Yes.
So that would be Esper number 6 for them. I would definitely be looking to do Doma, Castle, and Dream right about now if I was Squack, McQuack, and JS.
Yeah,
and both doing Doma.
JS is a good position here, having that, head start on Drulith. Kefka Narsh is rather long, and being only 2 checks behind him, I think Drew's still on a slightly better pace, because Drew does not have to do Dream, right? If Doma Castle's an Esper here. I mean, Drew's not going to do Dream of the 3 Kefka or Cyan checks unless he has to.
It's a Yeti.
Nope. I would be resetting out here, and we'll see what JS ends up doing. But that is bad luck. So, you hope Dream has 3 Espers. Stuff like Zen is still on the board for JS. A very quick Esper if you have the money for it.
Squack McQuack's going for it, though.
And, 1 second, sorry.
That's okay. Squack McQuack looks like they're going to go for the Yeti here. So there'll be an extra smidgen of a check they have. But then again, they've been really suffering on the Esper fines. So that'll allow them to go to Tritouch into Yeti. So that's 2 checks for them on the table there where they haven't been getting many Espers. So that's probably the line of thinking there. As JS said nope to the Yeti and has gone on to the Dream instead. And this will be our first viewing of that check right now. And Ranma, you're not wrong. This is a pretty crazy randomizer. And you're very welcome because I ruled it.
Hey, I'll be right back. I have to
no worries.
go do something real quick.
No worries. One Free Fits is going to do the Red Dragon inside of Phoenix Cave. The atomic ray coming down on top of their heads. Should be okay. Now, dragons are scaled. They are scaled in the standard. So this should be right around the same level as them. And also with all these Espers in their pockets, should be able to learn a bunch of spells here. Or at least the ones they have. Air Force. Ooh, that's kind of a rough one of the first boss here on the Dream. The Dream, you do fight a couple of bosses throughout the Dream sequence. So it does take a little bit, but you are rewarded with 3 checks. Possibly, and most likely, you could get 3 Espers as Bolt 2, Bolt 3, one or the other comes raining down on its head, and that'll take them out. Drulis is back again on the Kefka at Narsh check. We're seeing the Rexel going on here. Lock with the throwing action. On top of the snipers as well. Squack McQuack's going to do their Air Force fight now. As One Free Fits does take out the dragon. There should be a bunch of levels and catch up for them. And we're going to take our first peek at what the possible extra thing. And we got Fenrir. Fenrir is the first Esper there for the Dream sequence. And we have a Mogul. Fortunately, not what we're looking for. We're not looking for a 7th character, but we could get a second Esper off this at the end of the Dream sequence, because you can actually go to the throne room at the end of this to possibly get an extra reward from there. So we are guaranteed an Esper and a Moogle. And it's everybody's favorite puzzle in the Dream sequence. It is the switches. Oops, he unfortunately didn't do it right. He's got to go all the way to the right first to slide the bench back over to the left. Nope, he's, oh, you got it. Okay, there we go. And you get to hit 3 chests. Those 3 chests are always in the same sequence, and for that, One Free Fits gets his Ragnarok as the second person going through Phoenix Cave. Still has not done Kefka at Narsh, so most likely they'll be hitting there next. No love for Strago in any of these teams, even though he has a good base of magic power at 42. Drulic restocking on the Ninja Stars, coming back down off the hill at Kefka at Narsh. The other reason why I don't like doing Kefka at Narsh is not only there's a long walk up there, it's also a long walk back down because warp stones do not work in the world of balance. JS is now at the Magitech armor portion of the Dream. Not really much to do here. You just kind of walk through because you do have Moogle charms. And that'll get us to the final battle in the throne room while still inside the Dream. The objectives for this, there's no extra objectives. It is 6 characters, 9 Espers to get into Kefka's Tower. The new standard set. This is kind of a testing ground for this. Is ergo the name of this new standard testing ground. Was updated at noon this today to be also 9 characters or 12 espers for the shortcut at shortcut at Kefka's Tower. As an option, kind of like variation of the Battle Royale. Drulith does unlock Kefka's Tower here, and we'll be entering at 106. We'll call it 40. Trying to set it up here as best he can. Again, the offense is kind of scary, but he is going to enter Kefka's Tower right now at 06. We'll call it 50 now instead. JS getting through that fight. Sword Tech is still the same on the standard set of rules, so you still get the Sword Tech at the end of doing the dream. And we are going to do the extra check after gaining Mog as a character. We get another Esper, so that's 2 Espers and a Mogul off that, Seraphim. And so that puts him 1 Esper away from entering Kefka's Tower. With the other Moogle check, you can also do the Wolf check now. I don't know if he's done Burning House. Let's see. Or... Okay, JS has not done Burning House, but that's a dead check, so that's good on that. He's going to do Search the Skies, which we know is a dead check. 1 Free Fits is doing Burning House, unfortunately. For them. Drulith resetting looks like the Kefka and Narsh now. Didn't like this team loadout, so he's going to redo it again. So we're going to rechange that entry time now at 1:08:23 now. I found a Rage Ring, so that will unlock the Merton strats for that particular group. Help them get through some of these checks, unless you find a spicy chicken, then that will be all for naught. Squack McCrack will gain his 6th Esper of the series. Of course, he's at 8 characters as well, so he's actually 1 character away from actually doing a skip. So gaining that Yeti actually might have not been a bad thing, because he can actually work in the skip there. In case you're wondering about the weird music you got, or various music you got in the background, if you go to our Discord when you roll the seeds, you can add a space, the ant sign tunes, to the end of the seed that you roll in our Discord to add a randomized music to your run as well. So not only is your seed characters and checks and everything randomized, your music can be randomized as well. And you get more information on that, thank you, Nightbot, at www.ff6wc.com. And if you want to join us in these community races like that, our next race, of course, will be on Thursday, May 12th. It is a weekly community race. We race on Thursdays and Saturdays around 8 o'clock at night. And you can watch it right here. If you're watching our YouTube page, it'll be at twitch.tv/FF6 Worlds Collide. And yes, my voice is going away, and this is probably not helping it very much, as Squack McQuack will be doing the other Cyan check, the Mount Zozo check. So that'll be interesting. We have not seen that check yet. And I hear fire trucks going by my house. That's interesting. Oh, and JS is also doing the same check. He's going to grab a dragon for some levels right now. We'll see what that dragon's going to be. A little sneak peek. And that is a dirty dragon, unfortunately. So that's going to be a little bit of damage to the group here. But Locke at low health. He has a Valiant Knife and an Offering. So he'll be dropping the damage down pretty good on this one. One Free Fits, unfortunately, sees the efforts for naught on the dead check at the end of Burning House. I'm going to mute for a second here. Used to be a firefighter, so every time I hear a siren, I think it's Job Town myself, but still am technically. Druid so far has 2 characters on the first set of switches here, rounding out the rest of the way here for the first group, Group 1. Smack Quack's going to do his Dirty Dragon check as JS is going to reveal our Mount Zozo check here. Which is an Esper. That is their final Esper that they need. And a Dragon Horn from Dirty. So if you have Dragon Boots, which we did see on a couple of people here, that'll be the offense that we're missing. But again, JS is going to be able to unlock Kefka's Tower with this gain on Esper. Hopefully, it is an Odin or a Siren. Nope, it's Carbuncle, unfortunately, which is not going to be much help. Esper-wise, we'll see what they have for magics here. We'll see in a little bit. It's going to warp out first. Druid, first set of switches there in Kefka's Tower. So we're going to be doing the Guardian check against Group 3. Again, when you pair up your team, Group 3 is going to have the most bosses to fight. They're going to be fighting 3 bosses, while the other group only fights 2. So you want to make sure your third group has good range of damage that they can deal in order to get through this check. Now, unfortunately, Tritok, one of the harder ones to get, but since we have Mertens, some Rage Rings and stuff like that, we are going to be able to self-heal ourselves, but do 0 damage because wind does not affect them, unfortunately. My goodness, what is going on? Must be an MVA or fire. The throw does work through the icy shell of Tritouch, so that'll get that down for them. Squack McQuack is going to gain their Carbuncle Esper off this check here. That's unfortunately only number 8 for them. They still need to find 1 more. They're all at Kefka's Tower. 1 free fit, still only on 5 characters, 6 Espers, so they got a little ways to go here. Started out strong, but slowly fading here and trying to find the right checks to put them together. As we find a Dalaluma on the middle statue here, so that shouldn't be too hard for Drew to get through. He is one of the easy ones. It has already gone through 2/3 of his health already on 1 shot. So this attack from Drulis should pretty much knock out Dalaluma the rest of the way here. Yep. 1 free Fizz is going down into Ebbets Rock. Ebbets Rock will be an Esper. That'll be the Raiden Esper for them. Squack McQuack is going to do that Yeti series checks that I mentioned before. So that's going to be a Tri-Touch check mixed with a Yeti check for 2 checks there. For 2 possibilities to get that last Esper. But if they do get a character off the Yeti check, because I don't remember if I saw a character there, we'll get a Kefka and Narsh, sorry. That could possibly give them a character skip to Kefka, which would catch them up severely into the race. JS827196, there, you're welcome, I said all the numbers, is doing another dragon and gets another experience aid, kind of late in the game for that, though. But we'll be boosting up his stats there before getting into Final Kefka, doing some last-minute touch-ups. Drulith is going to go up to the last... I'm going to do the last statue here. It's Flame Eater. Luckily, the Merton group is not facing this, because that would be kind of useless. As Squack McCrap's going to find Haydn and the Haydenites, everybody's favorite band group from Final Fantasy VI. Ranma, what are these pieces of coral? Well, you have this chest that's blocking your way to the boss inside this cave, which on these switches you're randomly surfing throughout this cave. Each time you switch, you randomly go through it. And this chest you see that's hungry, you have to feed it at least 23 pieces of this coral in order for it to move out of the way so you can get to this boss fight. Which in this case, because it's a randomizer, is Dullahan. And that finalized 3 will take care of Flame Eater from Sabin. That'll be very handy for K2. So that is all the statues, I believe, for Drulith. So Drulith will be hitting the Kefka switches any minute now. Keeping to their standard, to being who currently holds the record of the earlier standard set series with a 1 hour 8-minute run. But this is a new age, new seed sets and everything, so not quite the same here now. Oh, nope, sorry, it was one more statue to go. The Gao Squad, who has a Paladin shield, so that should be make it a little easier for them, as one free fits does take out the Dullahan, is going to get that Esper for them. Squack Quack is going to find the Esper, the 9th Esper, number 9. Let's see if they go for the possible extra character here. Again, I didn't see if there was a character on the peak there when we did Kefka and Narsh. Oh, and JS Numbers is actually in Kefka's Tower. I'm sorry, I missed that. So I'm going to say he went into it at 1:17:10 here. Oof. Sets are getting the brunt off that, and Gout casting early life 3 to prevent that Doom attack on them, but with the shield that's going to block that Doom attack, so he still has life 3 available on them. As 9,000 damage to the Doom Gaze and healing himself for 2,600 HP, should be getting to that pretty well. Unfortunately, that was not a character for Squack McQuack on their screen. That is another Esper for them, but they will be getting into the fight on that screen. Yamaru, who would be normally the combatant on that screen. Of course, oh my god, it's Magimaster. Ugh. That's rough. You don't want to see Magimaster at this stage of the race, that's for darn sure. One Free Fits is doing the Search Disguise check. Unfortunately, that is a dead check for them, so they're not going to find a character or Esper off this. Passing around that Paladin Shield because Paladin Shield absorbs all the elements. So it is the strongest shield in the game for them. One more final check through on all those combatants here. Luckily, Squack McQuack does have the Valiant Knife, so that's going to take a little easy, makes things a little easier against Magimaster here. But that Fire 3 on the whole entire party is going to knock out half the party there, as Drulith gets on the switches at 1:20 even. So that was a 11-minute, 37-second Kefka's Tower. So a little on the higher side for them. But again, he was taking some extra steps, passing around the Paladin Shield like that. So, plus our offense hasn't been the greatest in this run either. So, decent music for this too, right there. JS is able to take down Yumaro. That's good on them. Squack McQuack is... Oh, double bolt action there. But Locke does have the... looks like he has the Paladin Shield on them. We'll take out Magimaster by themselves for the victory there. One Free Fritz is actually doing the climb up Narsh there in World of Ruin. And Drulith is starting on Kefka's climb. Now, of course, as we always do, we explain how to do Kefka's climb here with K1. Now, K1, there are 3 targets. There's the head on top. You have the forearm right hand, which is the one closest to you on the screen. And you have the closed fist, which is the one furthest away, which is his left hand. The right hand is weak to automatic death, which we only have Raiden really for that. So we're going to have to save that for K2 because it's a little easier in K2 for that. It's also weak to stone as well. The head is weak to fire damage. So we want to take out the head and the hand closest to us because if we take them out last, we get hit with a huge attack, which will take out a lot of the characters on our team. So closed fist, we want to kill last on this. Fortunately, Sabin is going to go down, but Elixir will save them because he was going to have some damage over time, DOT damage there. So close on that. One Free Fitz is going to do the dragon there on top of the Narsh. Squack McQuack is going to jump into Kefka's tower there. He's going to jump in at 122.22. And JS continues to climb up Kefka's tower. Takes a while. Also, a question in the chat. I'll try to answer them. I am trying to save my voice as best I can here. Also, want to give a quick shout out to our team in the background. Seto who unfortunately had to step away right now. He was my fellow commentator. We also got Kigalis, who was also doing the tracking for us. First time tracking for them. They did a pretty good job for that too. And also Sealant Cat, always lurking in the background. She was training Kigalis as well. So yeah, so kudos to them. I am Saberwolf. I'm doing the comms and the restreaming as well. I'm going to try to do this every Saturday. Won't be here the next two Saturdays, though. This is kind of a new thing. We're going to try to do Saturdays at 9 o'clock, do like a late edition, so to speak, or the West Coast edition, whatever you want to call it. And on that note, Drulith is able to take down K1. And is moving on to K2. Now, K2 is really interesting. Just appearing in your screen right now is what we call Tiger. It's the cat-like face. They are weak to Ice 3, and that's about it. Bluey, we're sitting on top of Tiger's head there. They're actually weak to Stop. They are the second target you basically take out. They will do 10 hits on you when they die. Right around the female figure, right where that kind of eye machine thing is, that is Machine. They are susceptible to automatic death, which is where we want to use that Raiden here, or Odin, or Doom attack, or X-Zone, something like that. That will automatically kill them. And last but not least, in the back there, facing away with the arm stretched out there, with the blonde hair looking like Kefka, that is Magic. They are actually weak to Mute, so that is probably the first thing you want to do is Mute. However, we have not seen Mute or Siren in this seed, so we're going to contend with whatever they throw at us. Yeah. Yeah, who dat? We're showing out the musics here. Meanwhile, in the other parts of our race, we have Squat McQuack on the first boss there. That is the Infernal boss. Yeah, Inferno boss there for Yamaro. Instead of being Inferno, it's Icy Bland. Also being Icy is Tritoch. They are I believe that is the Guardian for JS numbers. One Free Fitz still trying to fight their way through the seed right now. Having a little difficulty trying to find the Cyan, who we did find was located at Kefka at Narsh. So pretty soon they're going to have to go Kefka at Narshir and World of Balance Narshir to try to find that guy. That is the key that's One Free Fitz is missing right now. Meanwhile, on Drula's screen, we're having a little bit of difficulty here as two of our members of our squad have been frozen. So we're running into a little bit of difficulty here. Again, anything can happen in the randomizer, so you never know what could happen. But it looks like Tiger is down, so we did throw that attack at Bluey, who's sitting on top of Tiger there. JS Numbers is doing the Dataluma statue now. Drulith was actually the only one that did not find the offering. Yeah, he's very fast on speed, but Drulith's Lock is the only one that did not take the Valiant Knife offering find. He missed the chest, which was actually located in the Imperial camp, so we'll talk about with him afterwards when we do our post-game chat. But our other three runners actually did find that offering. Life 3 coming through on Drulith, being able to bring back Strago, but that poison's definitely going to drop them back down. Oh, finally unthawed now. We're going to be throwing out our Ice 3 that we've been holding since Tiger was alive. Ooh, Sabin getting dangerously close to death here. Hopefully this explosion will trigger. It will. Now, unfortunately, that DOT that you get from the first stage on K1 there does actually stay with you throughout the entire battle of all 4 stages of Kefka's tower. So that little tick does get to you after a while. By the way, we do have some other runners running in the background on this seed here. We actually had 6 or 7 people actually sign up for this, but unfortunately we only have 4 spaces available. But we do run a series where if you've run on a restream recently, we do try to have the computers, the system, weed out the people who have done it multiple times more recently. So those who haven't done a restream in a while will go to the top of the order and get on more often. So we try to give a little fairness, I guess you could say, for this community, because we're all about community. We're all about having fun here. But so far, nobody has finished yet, so. Squawk Macaque is slowly catching up with the rest of the pack here, getting to the first set of switches here as JS Numbers has gone past that point, is currently doing the statues, and Drulith moving on to K3. And that will be, I missed the K1 time, but K3 time will be at 29:40. Now, K3 is really difficult, but we do have the Golem that we got at the beginning of the game to help us with the calmness at the end. But the number one factor we got to get rid of is that floating feminine head in the background, which we call girl or lady. She is immune to, she absorbs, I should say, all types of elemental attacks. And she casts Whirlwind, which is, Whirlwind is you heal your target at your current health total. She has 9,999 HP in the basic form of the game, no normalized distort. And, yep, so all you really could do is just kind of throw ninja stars or flare or just regular attacks at her. Take her out first so she can't heal the person in front of her, which is the Kefka-looking character, which is called Sleep. This is kind of the spoof off of Kefka creating the world that it is now and then sleeping after recreating it. If you get into the lore of the game of this. Run Free Fits finally finding the cyan they desperately needed this whole entire time. Unfortunately, we'll be going probably to the Hopefully, actually, I should say we'll go to Mount Zozo. Mount Zozo would be the best check of the 3 for them to get into Kefka's tower as soon as possible. But going back to Drula's screen on the K3, now the thing you have to worry about for sleep is this right here. The lower the damage, the lower the health he is, the more aggressive his attacks become. And the more damaging spells, especially Meteor and stuff like that. And after you kill him, he will actually cast Calmness, which is a physical attack that automatically kills your character no matter what. However, it can be blocked by things like Fenrir and Golem, which we do have. And that will prevent that automatic kill damage against you. Life 3 is also a deterrent. By casting Life 3 on your characters, can help guard against that. So sometimes when you get into this situation, when you have with sleep here, sometimes it's best to heal him back up to a health total to get out of that danger zone of all these damaging spells against you. And here comes that Golem out that I mentioned before, so it looks like Druid is set up now to kill the damage now. And he has to be very quick about this, as quick, speaking of quick, you'll cast quick right now to get these 2 ninja stars out there, but it doesn't stop the timer. Ruh-roh. Okay, so we're going to have to reset now to get locked back up again so we can try that again. Now, Whirlwind, Wild Wind, whatever you want to call it, W-Wind, will not kill you. It doesn't. If it hits you, will do 90% of your max HP to you. So at least it's not a completely damaging spell, but it is a setup spell for something like Merton or Meteor that will definitely take the rest of your party out. JS numbers, unfortunately, having to reset there on the Doomgaze battle as, whoa, Squack McQuack getting really low. Double HP health here, as Doom will come out and miss Sabin. Setzer with a Setzer with a limit break for 5,000 damage. That's pretty good. Oh, here comes that meteor out on Drula's screen. How many guys go? Oh, everybody's down except for Gao, who misses. But here's that Life 3 protection coming back up. All our characters are back up again. Hopefully we can get out of this sequence here to... Nope, here comes another meteor again. Let's see who it takes out. Everybody... Okay, it's because Strago and Gao. Strago is down this time. And so again, this is that hole you can get into with sleep here that will just keep you down and out. He does have enough MP for the quick strat. So he's going to have to get some more MP into lock. Okay, it's going to be an elixir. Again, no mega elixir here for Fallen One, by the way, later on. But actually, Squack McQuack does have the mega elixir because he did fight Magimaster. Drulith is able to finally get through this. Strago is down, but Strago has been the disappointing child of the group, I guess, throughout this whole entire battle, even though he had a pretty decent magic power base. But looks like Drulith is finally climbing to the top, as one free fits is going to get in the Kefka's tower at 135.09. And finally we have Kefka 4, K4. One single target is Kefka themselves. The big thing about Kefka is how much damage you deal to him. If you deal way too much damage early, he can cast something like Ultima, which will pretty much decimate your entire party no matter what happens. But early on in the fight, he will be casting Fallen One that reduces your entire party down to 1 HP. But there's a big gap there where you can heal everybody back up again, back to max, off of that. One cool thing about Fallen One, if you have some of the other player strats that we have here, Squack McQuack, JS, and One Free Fist, who has the Valiant Knife offering possibility, unlike Drulith, That 1 HP that Locke gets down to, you can use that against Kefka and sometimes even one-shot him if you have enough levels and HP gap between your max HP and that 1 HP. Yeah, usually, and you're right, Kirksey, Tier 3 can probably be the toughest part of this. Many runs I've watched from other streamers like that usually ends at K3 with that whole sleep, like, ground and pound Meteo fight. Right now, Drula is trying to recover some magic power right now. Hopefully won't get hit with any major attacks from Kefka. Because again, the problem you have to watch for Kefka is the lower health that he gets into things like Hyperdrive and Ultima and stuff like that if you do too much damage to him. But when he gets into that charging ability, which is the Goner, he cannot counter or anything, so that is the point where you want to dump all your damage down on top of him. Usually, that's usually done in broken shields, if you have elemental shields like Flame Shield, Thunder Shield, or Ice Shield. As Squawk McQuack is resetting again off of the Goom Gaze, my goodness. But JS is going to get through Goom Gaze, and he hits the switches at 137.11. Locke does have throw, so he's just going to try to find any item that he has in his arsenal just to throw at Kefka. Here comes the Goner. He does have life 3 on some of his characters, so that should be the big ticket to get him through this Goner attack and back up on his feet again at higher health than he already has right now. Right now he's casting Quick because Locke with his Ninja Star damage is probably the best damage he has in his arsenal right now. Because we didn't really get many elemental shields, and the shields that we did get, we kind of had to use them early to get through some early fights. Nope, still no Kapow. Here comes the Goner attack out, and we'll see how many characters on the team did have life 3 up. Meanwhile, JS is starting at the bottom of Kefka here. Squawk Quack is trying to get to the first set of switches here. And One Free Fits is getting into the Inferno fight, which is, again, Yeti. Here comes a free Havoc Wing into Locke. That's going to hurt. Cyan did not have life 3 on them, so they're still down. We got to get Locke back up. Locke is the VIP of this group. Yeah, right now it's protect the Locke. That is Drulith's plan. Protect the Locke at all costs. And that's why we cast life 3. So again, we're going to have to start over again and put life 3 on him. Double Havoc Wing, what the heck? Well, apparently Kefka is on to Drulith's plan of protect the Locke here. Kefka's like, oh, you have quick double throw on me? How about quick double Havoc Wing on you? All right, here we go. Here comes the Quick again, right at the beginning of the Goner power-up. If I'm Drulith right now, I'm just dumping all the damage right now that I have. All right, this is YOLO time for Drew. I might have done it there. Yep, that did it. Kefka is down for Drulith. 139.52 is the official time. GG's in chat for them. We'll see if we can get Drulith into chat here as we'll switch over to Squawk McQuack's audio here in the background. Squawk McQuack does have to do another reset again here on the Doom Gaze.
late than never, but I apologize.
Welcome back, buddy. Yeah, it was a bit of a rough fight there for Drulith. Drulith will hopefully join us in chat and talk about it. But yeah, he ground and pounded his way through Tier 3. Managed to get by with only Strago dying in the end after getting hit by Meteor multiple times. And then getting through Kefka 4 there with everybody at 1 HP the entire battle. And it was Protect the Lock comp, but Kefka didn't want much of it as Drulith now joins us in the chat. GG, Drulith.
GG, Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Protect the Lock comp.
Yes, he was the damage for sure. Wow. What a final battle.
Yeah, that was a crazy seed and got funneled there into having to do Kefka and Narsh at the end.
Yeah, it was the last check available that I knew wouldn't yield like just an esper.
Yeah, and actually the crazy thing is that wasn't even Locke's max damage, because there was a Valiant Knife available in the World of Balance South Figaro weapon shop, and the offering was in the Imperial camp.
Oh yeah, I skipped that shop.
Yeah, I know.
I usually don't check that shop because I don't have enough money to actually buy anything from it. And you know, like any weapon shop has a chance of having the good stuff, so just skipping that one is like whatever, because I'm not going to check every single weapon shop, if that makes sense, because I'll check other ones later.
But you did have the early experience egg though, so that did help though.
Yeah, but I mean, offense was definitely the problem this seed all around, and so was defense. Both of those were the problem.
Yeah, Seto, you mentioned that.
Sorry, what?
The poor offense.
Yeah, it was. Everyone had some pieces, but you know, I think everyone felt like they were one step away from something clicking, and it just was a little rough going. It wasn't the worst offense, but definitely you wanted some more tools and options.
Well, I will say that Kefka's tower I was not worried about, because one thing that people do overlook is that Marathon is super useful in KT with the split party, because then you only need one form of Marathon protection. So, you know, Paladin Shield plus Marathon learned on everybody, you know, that's pretty good KT safety. I was worried about that final battle. I actually thought it would go way better. I figured my damage output would be so high that like it didn't matter, but some trolling got me whittled down, made me use my recovery items. You know how it goes. It got pretty tight, but luckily, through managing thresholds, we were able to make it through. I think you're muted if you're trying to talk.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm multitasking.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I get you.
Yeah, no worries. You know, I was just gonna say you were really consistent throughout the seed. I mean, when you had like, I think you were at like 5 or 6 characters and about like 6 or 7 espers. Some people like Squack McQuack still only had 1 esper. They found all the dead checks before they found anything really.
I think that, you know, having it be Kefka and Narsh guaranteed is whatever, but I feel like this was worse than usual for 2 reasons. The first is that you didn't realize it was Kefka and Narsh required until you were at 5 characters, meaning you are probably going to do way more checks than you need to, because you're going to probably do every single check before you do Kefka and Narsh, unless you do it early.
No, because we're testing.
But that's the second point. The second point was that you aren't going to do it early usually unless you have Terra or Mog, right? So
Yeah.
unless that's just your strat to get like an edge up, is to, hey, I'm just going to peek this early on. Then yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Sorry for interrupting.
All right. Well, I was gonna say, like, how do you feel about, because we're trying out the new standard set here? How do you feel about the 3 character start versus the 2 character start, and the reduced goal that you have with only having 6 characters, 9 instead of 7 and 10?
So starting with 3 characters, at the start it can be a lot of more information to parse, but you do have more options available to you, which increases the chance that you'll find something you can work with. And in this case, it was dance. I was like, you know what, I could probably take out a few fixed encounters with dance, get enough MP for lore, and then use Aqua Breath to take out some early encounters, which worked out pretty well. And it just added quantity of checks. So if you have like particular routes that you like to do, it's more likely you can employ those routes with a 3-character start. As for the reduced requirements, it's all just to basically speed up the average time and the KT skip as well. I can't even fathom if this was a 710. That probably would have been really hard to get even sub 150 if this was 710. So,
So it didn't really speed up those the race as a whole either, at least for this seed.
well, for this seed, what I'm saying is I think if this seed was also 710, then we would have had to sit through at least 2 more checks, but likely 3 or 4 more. And then it would have probably been like 145, 146 is my final time, or somewhere around there. So definitely it just helps with the times. There is the argument that I would have had more offense by then and then maybe done KT faster, but that's just it's speculation, I guess. It's hard to say for sure.
JS moving on to Tier 3, Kefka. Squack McQuack, after dying 4 times to Doomgaze, has switched paths and is trying Tritox instead, but unfortunately Gao is frozen. Shout out to Green Monkey, who was running off camera, off of Restream, finishing 2nd place with a 146.50.
One thing was that so in Tier 2 I got frozen on 2 characters and I didn't have the basic fire one. I could have cast Meriton, but they would have died, but I could have Phoenix down them, but it was also I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, that was a rough position.
Lock alive. It would have just been Lock alive and Magic's alive, and I'm pretty sure Magic can muddle. Maybe he can't, but I was like, I don't want to risk it. So, it was just a tough spot.
Yeah, no insta-death, no mute, no nothing there.
Yeah, I just didn't have my normal Swiss Army knife of things that make things easier, but...
Or Magic Tech Missile.
I always love having a tough KT like that, though. I feel like whenever you get there with just barely enough, it's a good sign that you probably played the seed correctly. I think that was probably a little slower than ideal, but it always feels good, giving it everything you got and barely winning against Kefka. It's the most intense thing in this randomizer, I'd say.
Yeah, well, it makes you feel like you earned it.
Yeah, definitely.
Zeto, any questions that you want to get caught up on?
No, sorry, I missed the last third of the race, Drew.
That's okay.
So sorry if I'm old, but I'm catching up on kind of what everyone's doing. So nothing.
No, you're good. It was just a 17-minute Kefka fight.
Yeah,
only a 17-minute.
Yeah, it adds another level of stress when you see that nobody's hit done yet, and you're
technically,
how are the other runners doing?
Technically, it was 19 minutes 52 seconds.
Yeah.
When I'm going on the Tier 3 and no one's hit done yet, I start really stressing out. I'm like, am I winning or am I gonna see done any second now? It can definitely be rather nerve-wracking. Yeah,
some races I just minimize Discord, and I think it's better, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's I just want to see.
It can go either way, because there's definitely been times I've been racing someone, typically one-on-one, and then they're like, hey, I gotta use the bathroom or something. And so if you minimize that, you kind of miss out. Whereas if I see that, I'd be like, all right, well, let's take a pause and all that. So I try to keep it up.
Definitely a good point.
But I see it both ways.
But yeah, for all I know, as hard as the seed was for me, I could have just missed something. There could have been V-knife offering, which there was, but there could have been 2 Illuminas and some check I didn't do, just things like that. So like you never really know. So whenever you have a slow Kefka like that, it's just extra stressful because it's like you're kind of like in the back of your mind, like, ooh, I bet these other runners aren't having this much trouble on Kefka. But yeah, that's about all I got.
Alrighty, well, GG to you. Low time on the 7 wide race of the new, at least it's suggested new, standard seed sets. So yeah, congrats.
DJ.
GG.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night, bud. Well, to catch everybody up here, we do have one free fits passing Squack McQuack. Now doing K1 as JS has reached to the top of Kefka in their fight as well. And Squack McQuack is doing a roundabout path to try to do some other things other than Doomgaze before going back to that unfortunate thing again.
Yeah, it's crazy kind of how this race has been going. Obviously, I came back rather late, but our 3 main runners have really gone back and forth this entire time. We saw Fitz up, getting close to Drew with progress at one point, and obviously JS with that early Kefka at Narsh check really helped close that gap and got him ahead there. And so I feel like it's kind of been anyone's game, obviously up till the end, that really they were going back and forth throughout this entire run.
And we do get a kapow out of JS numbers. 1:52:28 is the official time for them. And they will finish 3rd overall in this little race we have going on.
Yeah, so 3rd place of 6, I think? I forget how many entrants there were. I think it was 6.
Maybe it was 6. That might have counted myself as 7.
It is 6. You removed from it.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. So it is 6.
Yeah, so JS 8271986 takes 3rd place overall, 2nd on our restream. So GG to him, as one free Fitz enters tier 1, and Squax is looking like he's finishing up his equipment for. Oh, he's still doing his 3rd path boss, so he's a little bit.
Yeah, that's the Doomgaze. He's failed it 4 times, I think now.
Ooh, yeah, Doomgaze can be a wall on the path. Obviously, levels visible at 5, but also just in general, he can be, he can just be. He can hit hard. He can. He has a lot of HP. He definitely is tough, especially if you don't feel like you have a lot of options. And this seed offense has been a little rough.
And we do have JS8271986 joining us in chat. How you doing, bud?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
So,
GG's.
GG, 3rd overall, 2nd on the restream. How was that race for you?
Doomgaze got me there at the end. Really, I thought it went pretty good. Couple dead checks, but otherwise, just Doomgaze hurt. I wasn't even thinking Sabin was my weakest character. I should have sent someone else with him.
Yeah, I mean, well, it didn't hit you as bad as Squack McQuack. Squack McQuack's on his 5th attempt currently on Doomgaze right now. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting pretty lucky though. At least Sabin was blocking everything, and then it's kind of like, this is taking forever. But I mean, if we keep our standard like this, I think I'll like it. I'm pretty excited about it because I think this ran pretty good.
Well, that's definitely one we want to hear. And now you were the first one to figure out you had to do Kefka at Narsh for Cyan.
Oh, really? Huh. I was thinking, oh man, I'm the last person here because I about had all my checks done, and then whenever I saw that, I was like, oh man, someone had to have got this already.
No, you were the first one there, which I think really kind of helped your time out a lot compared to some of the other runners who got there later. So that was a good call by you. And real quick, the small update: we do have a forfeit from Squack McQuack. He is dropping out from the race, so that leaves just Fitz on our restream still going. So sorry for the interruption.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I know I'm still relatively new to this. I just started back in November, so I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident with how I'm running now. I mean, just a lot to learn still, and I've learned from a lot of the guys from the discords. So it's been pretty fun. This run, this is probably my only like my second or third restream, so kind of gets nerves to you also. So
Yeah, the nerves are definitely real. I mean, you're right. You've been doing this since November, and you're a very solid runner. We've definitely seen improvements, and you should be very proud of both your time and how you did on the restream, because it isn't easy. It is a lot of pressure knowing people are watching you, knowing that, not knowing what other runners are, what they're doing, not knowing how far ahead or not ahead they are, and like, you did a really good job. So again, GG's to you.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, sub 2 hour on the new set of flags rules and everything. So
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that because most of my runs on the old standard, my PB I just got on the old standard before they really changed was like 144. I finally broke that 145, and then they're like, "We're changing standard." I'm like, "Oh, here we go again." But actually, if they keep it like this, I think the standard times will be pretty good. Between an average runner probably between that 140 and 2 hour mark for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. All the changes they made this week seem to be with speed in mind and really kind of adapting a lot of stuff we've seen in other tournaments. And congratulations on breaking. I think you said what, the 145 mark
Yeah.
on the previous standard. It's all about setting milestones for yourself. I think all of us runners remember the first time we did sub 250, and first time we did sub 2 hours, first time we did sub 150. And it's all about setting milestones and celebrating that. So, I'm sure you'll find that on the new flag set that look at how you did today, you'll very quickly break 150, 145, 140, because this was a bear of a seed. It did not give you that much offense and a lot of dead checks and routing everywhere to kind of get those last characters. So a 152 on this is very, very solid and very good.
I'm sorry, okay?
I don't know if you I don't know if you noticed, but I ran straight back to Figaro to get that V-Knife as soon as I picked up block and had the offering out of Imperial Base. Like, as soon as I got that, I was like, I've got to have some offense. There's like nothing going on.
Yeah, Drulith was the only one that
magic
didn't
users
have that,
are
by the
real
way.
strong.
Drulith missed
Well,
the
that's
offering.
Really, he missed it.
Yep.
He was the only one not to get it. Which I don't blame him. I don't check that chest a lot of times either, because you're there rather early. That was one thing. You pulled off a heck of a play of noise blasting that Katana Soul right when he did his instant death attack. A combination of really good smarts from you, knowing he'd be muddled, with very good luck of him doing that attack immediately afterwards.
Well, honestly, that's the only reason why I even checked that, is because I had that noise blaster. With how early it was, I probably wouldn't have if I didn't have the noise blaster. Just, the game knowledge that I've learned over time, some things you just don't check, and sometimes you just go for it. But on that one, I knew I had the noise blaster. It wasn't going to be an issue anywhere, so that's why I went for it.
Well, plays like that will definitely get you noticed in the community, I will say.
Yeah, it was very smooth and very smart. Like, I think it's one thing we all love about Worlds Collide is when people pull out like something niche and smart in order to get a huge advantage, and that was definitely it. Because you killed that fight quicker than anyone else did, and took it at a low level. So that's awesome. I popped really hard when I saw that.
Update.
Thanks,
also,
I appreciate it.
Sorry, update off camera here. Our 6th racer, Jex for Rock, who was not racing on the restream, also forfeit. So
I think that leaves just
so
Fitz
Squack
left.
McQuack not alone in this. We do have one more guy left. One prefix is still going.
Honestly, I thought I was gonna have to pull out and re-up my teams for that Doom Gaze, because I just had no offense with Saban, and it was just like, hopes and prayers on that one, basically.
Nobody had offense off Saban. Nobody did. So
How did you end up getting by that Doom Gaze?
yeah, seriously.
honestly, he just, I can't remember what shield he had. I want to say he had an Aegis shield, he had a Zephyr Cape, and a Ribbon. And I just kept running. I had one Fire Rod, let Strago use that. He had higher magic power. So that was like 3,500 damage. And then I just kept hitting the drill, and he was dodging, or Saban was dodging every attack. So I got lucky. Honestly, that was a little bit of luck there that he dodged everything. And that second go, he didn't doom me, so that helped. Or if he did, I might have dodged it once. But I mean, I guess I just lucked out and had pretty good defense for Saban, but that was about it.
Everyone definitely struggled this seed. It seemed like all the pieces were almost there for good offense, but didn't quite line up for anyone in a way that would allow for steamrolling. So, good job for still pulling it out in the end, because I think that's, what makes good runners is be able to, get creative and kind of pull out a win, because in the end, a win is a win, right?
Right. That's right. Win is a win. Doesn't matter how you do it. I figured if that second time didn't go too well, it was going to be pulling the Pally Shield off of Locke and putting it on him and see if that helped any. But it, and still, no matter how good of a runner you are in this game, luck is still part of it. I mean, between dead checks and just, hoping you don't run into Doom Gaze when you're, level 35, level 40, whatever it may be. But you still got luck,
Yep, exactly. Speaking of luck, looks like Fitz might be finishing off this Kefka in a minute as he enters his goner phase. Doesn't have too much HP left, so we might see our last runner finish.
No, but it's definitely working the Dragon Boots Dragon Horn he picked up on Setzer,
though. Cyan, you mean, right?
No, Cyan just has plain jump.
Oh, okay.
Well, they both have jump, but yeah, Setzer's the one that had the Dragon Horn.
He's in a little bit of trouble. Cyan's still alive in the air, but we have two people down, and you got to be careful here because he can start throwing out multiple Havoc Wings. You typically want your party, people alive more than anything else here, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully...
he got it!
Yeah. Well, spoilers. No, yeah, looks like, he got it. He finished with a time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 36 seconds. So, GG to Fitz. I think you double input it there.
I beat our tracker. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, Kiggless.
GG to Fitz. JS, is there anything else you want to add? And one question for you. Is calling you JS fine? Because the rest of your username is a little awkward.
Yeah, that's the same username I've had for anything that I've used. It's part of my email. I've had that for like, I don't know, umpteen years, but JS is perfectly fine.
Okay. I told Saber we had to say out every number.
Yeah, that would some people will go JS number, and that's kind of the end of it.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, I'm good. I'm gonna get off here and see if One Free Fits wants to talk to you guys. So thanks for chatting with me.
No problem.
All right, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Yep. GG again. See if we can get him
Thank
in
you.
for an interview, maybe. I think this was his first restream, he said.
I think so too.
Oh, there you are. So we'll see if he can come in for an interview, and if not, we'll close out and maybe get a raid up on someone. Saberwolf, while we're waiting, is there anything to plug with the community or life in general?
Yep. So we do have, of course, we do these community events every Thursday and Saturday around 8 p.m. give or take. Sometimes 7, sometimes 9. We're trying a 9 o'clock hour on the Saturdays now, which we had a lot of interest in, so that was really good. So we'll definitely bring this back again. But the next community event, Thursday, May 12th, this is the weekly community race right here on twitch.tv/FF6 Worlds Collide, and VODs will be available after a couple days on our YouTube page. And also big talks about, I believe it's GDQ, if I'm not mistaken here.
Yes, GDQ, end of June, beginning of July. The schedule just came out, and Worlds Collide is slotted at Monday morning at 12:26 a.m. So very, very late time. But it'll be a four-way race between Drulith, who we saw win this race, Dr. DT, Jextrox, and myself. We'll be doing a four-way race of standard race for GDQ, raising money for Doctors Without Borders. Should be a good time. It's going to be a lot of eyes on Worlds Collide, so please join in and help support us, and should be good for both the charity and for our community. So I am very excited.
And anytime you can give back as a gaming community, it's always an awesome thing. I know I participate in other events like cancer research and stuff like that in other games. So yeah, anytime when communities like this one and any community out there for gaming, yeah, it's always a huge thing that you can always give back like that.
Yeah, and especially something at GDQ, they're so big that that you're making a difference, because they, I think last GDQ they raised $3.4 million for Prevent Cancer. So
that's amazing.
It is amazing, and I don't want to speak for my other runners, but I know for me it feels great to use this dumb hobby for doing some good like that. So that is very exciting to be working for such a good cause. And exciting for our community to hopefully maybe use this as an opportunity to grow. Hopefully there will be a lot more interest in playing this awesome rando that we all enjoy.
Yeah, it's definitely again, if you want to try this randomizer out yourself, just head on over to www.ff6wc.com. You can always roll some various flags like that we have on there, or you can make your own. And also, if you want to follow our link on there to our Discord, you can also add in other features like random tunes and like that, and get in touch with the community, learning like a help channel, try to understand how to do this, how to roll your own seeds and like that, to understand this great game that we have available to everybody.
Exactly. And I think I see in chat that Fitz might join us in a second. Some about throwing a headset on, so we can give a quick interview with him and get his thoughts, and then I think we'll probably end up calling it a night from there.
Okay.
So we'll see in a second if he joins, as we awkwardly vamp for longer.
Hey, first time doing a restream, you learn this stuff as you go along. Heck, I learned some new things doing this restream tonight with trying to get racers on board and picking out some racers that haven't raced in a while and stuff like that through this command set and we have in Discord. Again, our Discord is pretty decked out with a lot of bots and functions and rolling seeds and tunes and finding racers and creating rooms, temporary rooms for some asyncs. What we call asyncs is our temporary rooms for people to get together and do a race and automatically get moves itself. So our Discord is pretty darn decked out. It's the most decked out Discord I'm a part of. So
I just found out today that if you're in a race room, you type exclamation mark multi, it will automatically generate you a multi-race stream with with the people in there, which that was fancy. I did not know it could do that. So a lot of tools out there. But we are now joined by one free Fitz, our fourth place runner. So GG Fitz.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was a fun race. Had a good time.
So walk us through there. Unfortunately, you were the last one to get into Kefka's Tower on stream, but you were the fourth person to finish. So good tenacity out of you. Can you walk us through your race a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like, I haven't really run the new settings yet, and I was pretty optimistic when I got the 3 starting characters, but I I found a lot of the dead checks, I feel like. And it was just taking me a while to get those characters and espers, and I tried to search the skies early and found Guardian there, and I wasn't ready for that.
Nobody's ever ready for Guardian.
So I took a couple road bumps, but at the end, I think my Kefka's tower was actually like pretty smooth, and I didn't run into any trouble at the Doom Gaze, so I was fortunate there, and managed to have a kind of bumpy, but overall, I beat a final Kefka on the first try, so that's always good. So
Especially in this
Yeah.
scene where offense was slim pickings and everyone struggled, not wiping the Kefka. I don't think any of our runners did, but everyone got kind of close and had their scary moments. So it definitely is an accomplishment to be able to get all the way through the fight with how this scene went.
yeah, for sure. I guess looking back, and like maybe I could have used like Burton a lot more aggressively. I had like some protection against it, and it might have been faster kind of once I had gotten that, but I don't know. I was just playing it a little bit more conservative because I didn't want to put up that FF when you get that wipe in Kefka's tower. It's hard to overcome and keep going. So I was just like, I'm gonna finish and see what my time is, and I'm pretty happy with where I landed.
Well, early game, you actually were definitely keeping up with the front of the pack. I believe you were in second place throughout the majority of the first quarter of the race. So you actually were doing pretty darn good until you got just bogged down, like you said, by those dead checks there in the mid game.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'll be curious to go back and watch the race. I feel pretty comfortable in the early game, and with just some of the stuff I got, I was like, all right, let's go do some checks. I'm feeling pretty good about my time. But yeah, check luck is what it is. I felt pretty good about my performance out there, and it was just fun, like racing on the stream for the first time. I would recommend it to anyone if you don't feel like you have like a top time. It's still fun to do. So.
Oh, absolutely. And like, even if even when you're getting better, like when we have tournaments, things are, restreamed and stuff like that. So it's just always good practice to keep at it and keep participating in these. It's fun. It's people get to watch you play and see your tactics. It's a good time.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna get going here, but I definitely appreciate everyone that helped put it on, and the community is great in terms of if you're looking to pick it up, it's pretty fun, and there's not really a lot of tricks to learn. There's not a lot of tech.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like knowing the game and adjusting as it like unfolds, which I think makes it a lot lower barrier to entry compared to some of the other randomizers out there.
Yeah, for sure. It has a low barrier of entry, but also a very high skill ceiling, which is a sign of any good competitive game.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, have a good night, and excited for the next set of races.
Yeah, and like we said, Thursday and Saturday, tune in. We try to do these regularly, so hopefully we see you on here again in the near future.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
Have a good night.
GG's again. And I think that's about it, Saberwolf.
Yep.
I don't see anyone else streaming Worlds Collide, so I don't think we're going to be doing a raid. I think we'll just kind of end it after we sign off and give our closing remarks.
Yep. So again, how do you feel about this the new randomizer with the starting 3, 6, 9, the whole 9 yards? Like, how do you feel about it so far?
I like it a lot. I think that these were things that we had done in multiple tournaments, both in the Battle Royale, but there was also aspects that we had done back in the ladder, 9 months ago. And so, in my opinion, some of these were long overdue to be included in standard because they were kind of the standard for a lot of our organized competitive stuff we did anyway. So I like these. I think that they really make it exciting. It makes it faster and gives more options at the beginning, both in terms of abilities and routes. And so these are all positive changes that I'm completely behind. What about
Yeah,
you?
and I'm with you on that. Just more divergence, like we saw in this. Even we saw in this one, like everybody kind of went. All four runners went a different route, for a little bit there. Unfortunately, in the end, it was bottlenecked at Kefka and Narsh, which it does happen sometimes. But
Yeah,
but
a lot
yeah,
more
I
likely to
mean,
happen with two characters instead of three, though. So I think this
right.
seed was just being difficult.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But it makes it fun for the rest of us.
Hey, I got accused of rolling bad seeds earlier today too, so I'm not gonna throw stones.
Well, again, and we said, I always said it before, we'll say it again one more time. Join us in our Discord for if you want to join in on these community races. Again, two of our runners tonight, first time ever getting on the restream. So, and then this could be you on the restream, just becoming famous. Who knows?
Famous might be a strong word,
Yeah, famous would be a strong word.
but definitely, the community would be watching and cheering you on. So we're very nice. We love new people, and we love the showcase new people. So
Yes, we don't
uh,
bite.
yeah, we don't bite. So it's a lot of fun. So feel free to join us. And yeah, I think that's about all I have. So I'm Soto Kaiba.
And I'm Saberwolf. Want to again, big shout out to Drewlith, Squack McQuack, JS8271986, and One Free Fits for doing the on-stream restream of their channels. If you're still with us in Twitch chat, there's their Twitch channels. Once again, Seto Kiyaba on his channel. I am Saberwolf Gaming, 2 M's in gaming. And also don't want to forget in the background, Kigalis and Ceiling Cat in the background doing the tracking. It makes mine and Seto Kiyaba's lives so much easier knowing what, where, when, why, and how everybody got their checks they did. So big shout out to them as well. Thank you all.
Good night.
And have a good night.